Hello, everyone. Welcome to the DC Show podcast. I am Zack.
And I'm Kyler, and unfortunately, we are down a member today. Couldn't make
Yeah,
it. He might join in later. It depends on if he wakes up or not.
yeah. We think he's vacationing off with Moff Gideon right
Yup.
now. So
Yeah.
hopefully we find him. But you know what? That doesn't stop the show.
Yep.
We still got to pile through, and we got to review Mando, episode 5 of season 2, or chapter 13,
Mhm.
the Jedi.
Yep. Oh,
Obviously featuring Ahsoka Tano.
let's go.
As we predicted here on DC Show, Ahsoka Tano did end up showing up, and I think we both are very happy that Ahsoka showed up, correct?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely for
So
sure.
basically this was written and directed by Dave Filoni, and Dave Filoni has written I don't know how many. Oh yeah, this is his third because he directed the pilot,
Mhm.
he directed episode 5, and he directed this episode.
Oh, okay.
Episode 5 of season 1, the Gunslinger, I think is the worst episode
All right.
of
I
Mando.
remember
So
that.
I was definitely nervous going into
Oh
this
my
episode,
gosh.
but I got to give a round of applause to Dave Filoni. You
Yep.
killed it, my man. So let's get into it. So we begin, and we just start off. Ahsoka's just here. I thought we were gonna have to wait a little bit, but no, they don't waste any time.
Yeah. No, they
Well,
immediately
we don't
started.
exactly. We don't see her, but we see the lightsaber. She's taking down all these people in
Mhm.
this forest, and you kind of get like little glimpses of her. And then she goes up to this, it's like kind of like a big wall to get into
Mhm.
this little village. And the character's name is the Magistrate, I believe, and she's kind
Yep.
of like the empress of this village. And Ahsoka is basically saying, "Hey, I want to get in here, and I want to free all the people that are in here, and I also need to get some information off of you."
Mhm.
Which we find out about that later.
Yep.
And she's kind of like, "No, you're not getting in here." And Ahsoka is like, "I'm getting in." So that's kind of our open. I think Ahsoka looked amazing.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Definitely
I
looked
mean,
very good for live action. The
yeah,
same thing with
people
like
were
Bo-Katan, like she looked absolutely
exactly. They
amazing.
translate so well. And so yeah. So after that, we have Mando and Baby Yoda are on the ship, and Baby Yoda's always wanting to have that little ball that is on the
Yeah.
one of the switches, which comes back later. So yeah, Baby Yoda really wants that ball, and they land on the planet, and they land kind of in this like foresty, because the whole planet is basically
Oh,
like a
you know what?
forest.
A funny thing about that though, it's like as soon as I saw
Hmm.
that planet, I'm like, oh, here we go, Rise of Skywalker at the beginning.
Oh
as, soon,
my
as soon
gosh.
as I saw that, I was like, yep, here we go, Kylo Ren,
Yeah, speaking of the Rise
the
of Skywalker,
Wayfire.
why was that trending this week, man?
Oh my, no, like the Last Jedi was trending. Star Wars was, it was crazy. I was like,
Rogue
what?
One was trending. People
Yeah,
were trying to say that Rise of the Skywalker is the best. And you know
yeah.
what,
Oh
guys?
my
Later
god.
on, we have to do a podcast on why the Rise of Skywalker is not a good movie, because we cannot have people saying that this is the best Star Wars movie.
No,
It is not the best Star Wars movie, people.
no.
But I digress. So,
Hmm.
so Mando and Baby Yoda land on the planet. They start walking, and they're trying to find out if there's a Jedi here. So they search around a little bit, and then boom, Ahsoka comes in. She comes in hot, bro. She's
Well,
slicing at
no,
Mando,
but
and
first, but
Mando.
first they go to the
Oh yeah, yeah,
magistrate.
yeah.
Yep.
You're right. So they do go there, and Mando is like, oh yeah, Mando goes in. I
Hmm.
forgot about this. Yeah.
Yep.
So Mando goes inside, and you see this village, and you see that there's like prisoners on the side. They're hooked up in these little things that they keep getting electrocuted
Hmm.
in, and it was pretty dark. So then
Yeah, no.
Mando sees this guy, uh, and he's talking with some kids, and he's like, "Hey, is there a Jedi around here?" And he's kind of trying to ask him, but the guy's like shutting it down. He's like, "No, no, no, don't ask me any questions." And he leaves. So then Mando's like, all right, I got to go search. And then the people are basically like, Mandalorian, we have this Beskar staff, and if you go kill this Jedi that is plaguing our village, then you can have it.
Mhm,
Obviously, Mando does not know yet that it is Ahsoka,
mhm.
so he's like, all right, I'll go kill your
I think
Jedi.
he like somewhat knew because he's like, oh, where can I find
Yeah,
this? I think he might have somewhat knew because
I
after
think he
all,
was
like
just like,
he
oh,
knew
this
a
is
Jedi
making it
was in
easier.
this, and it's like it would make sense. I feel like he somewhat knew for
Yeah, I
sure.
think he was like, "Oh, a Jedi. Well, this makes it a little bit easier for me. I can go find the Jedi."
Yeah.
So he goes into the forest, and eventually, now he does run into Ahsoka, and she comes at him with the lightsabers, and
Oh,
he blocks
and
it
I'm so sorry for
with his.
interrupting, but just to note, like before
Yeah,
Ahsoka pops in, there was this owl on the tree. And I think that's gonna be very important to talk about.
Yes, that's a great point
Mm,
because in Star Wars Rebels,
mm,
that owl, there was a lot of owls that were kind of symbolizing because Ahsoka had been off of the show and people, because they left us on a cliffhanger. She was fighting Darth Vader.
mm.
I believe it was season 2 of Rebels,
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
kind of
somewhere
didn't know
around
what
that.
happened to her. You didn't know if she died. You didn't know what
Mm,
happened. And they kept showing these owls. And eventually it symbolized that, yes, Ahsoka did end up appearing in the show. So
mm,
I think that the owls were definitely, are going to definitely still play a part. But
mm.
I also think that the owl was kind of a nod to the fans, like, hey, Ahsoka is about to show up,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, no, because even in the ending of Clone Wars, like, and when Darth Vader like grabs Ahsoka's lightsaber, you see the owl just spinning around it.
Yes, exactly.
So
They're kind
definitely,
of
like,
like
the
her,
owl
like,
has
symbol.
definitely huge significance to Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So after this, now finally, Mando and Ahsoka meet,
yeah,
and she slashes him with a saber, but he blocks it with the. This Beskar is strong, man. Beskar
yeah.
can go
Oh
up
yeah,
against
it couldn't even
anything.
go through lightsaber. I was like, oh my god.
Exactly, dude. And yeah, so it slashes through the lightsaber, and this is Kyler. I think this is going to be very important.
Mm,
Moff Gideon has a dark saber.
mm-hmm.
Mando now has a
Oh,
Beskar staff.
true. Very
Bro, that's
true.
how he's gonna fight Moff Gideon,
Yo,
man.
yo, that'd be sick, man. Oh my
How sick
gosh,
would that be, dude? That
so
would be
sick.
sick.
Oh
I would
my
love it.
gosh, I would love it, man.
So they have this encounter, and there's a really cool part where Mando shoots the flames at her. Then he like ties her up, but then she does a flip over a tree, and then he gets caught up in the rope.
Oh, that was amazing, man.
It was a really just cool small action scene and pretty quick, but I thought it was really well
Oh,
done.
absolutely,
Um, yeah.
absolutely.
So then after this, it's kind of like nighttime. Really beautiful shots of just all dark, and you see the moon, and you
Mm.
see Ahsoka talking to Baby Yoda. And Mando's kind of pacing back and forth. And then he eventually walks up, and he's like, "Yeah, can you understand him? What is he talking about?" And then Ahsoka says he does understand. She can understand him. And yeah, she just drops his name. She says Grogu and I are speaking. So this guy right here is now Grogu. Even though,
Which
as
no
Kyler
one's
we talked
gonna,
about,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, no one's gonna use that. Not even us will even use that.
we're just gonna keep saying Baby
Baby
Yoda. It's
Yoda.
just so hard now to get used to saying
Yeah,
Grogu. It's just,
it's
it's
probably gonna
hard.
be hard, like later on in the show, being like, "Wait, who was Grogu?"
I know I'm gonna
Yeah,
be lost and be like, wait. Oh yeah, that was Baby Yoda.
yeah.
I mean, even on the merchandise, like for example, for the
Mhm,
Funko Pop, which I have here, it's the child. So
mhm.
it's like if they start labeling it Grogu, people are gonna be like, "Who's Grogu? I want a
Yeah,
Baby Yoda."
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
no.
but yeah, so there's a great scene, and we find out basically. I mean, this episode, everyone's talking about Ahsoka, and Ahsoka was great, but we basically find out all of Grogu's backstory
Yeah,
here.
no,
That
which was really huge.
um, in episode 3, obviously, Anakin just goes in and murders a bunch of children, which was crazy, and Baby Yoda was there,
Hmm.
uh, and Baby Yoda was there somewhere hiding, and he actually got out. He was able to escape. Um, and he had a few masters that were trying to kind of teach him in the ways of the Force. But eventually he realized, he kind of had to hide his powers, especially because Order 66 was going on around this time. And, he was being trained as a Jedi, but he knew he had to hide the powers. So he went away, and eventually, I guess, because in Mandalorian Season 1, we find him in that kind of,
Oh my
oh
god.
my gosh, ladies and gentlemen. Finally off a vacation with Moff Gideon.
Yep.
Once he turns his camera on, we will see the man, the myth, the legend himself,
Oh my
Eric,
gosh, Eric
Disney
Diaz.
Shill Diaz, the legend, the
The
legend.
man, the legend.
Um, but yeah, but until he comes on, we could just keep talking. So
Yep.
we find out his whole backstory here. It's really intriguing. Kyler, what did you think of learning Baby Yoda's backstory?
I thought it was really cool, and like some people thought, like, made a comment which was funny, was like, oh, this whole Mandalorian series is about like Anakin not killing one kid, which I thought, oh my gosh, Eric.
And he left again.
And he
That's
left.
all
Oh,
right.
don't worry, I'll just get in touch with them.
But yeah, so and I saw some pretty funny edits of like there's little things of I don't know if I can find one. I'll put it in here.
Yeah.
But like people were photoshopping Baby Yoda into an Anakin is slaughtering all the kids, which was it was funny because I mean, you know, he uh
Yeah, no.
he did end up escaping. So yeah, after this, Mando asks Ahsoka the big question, um, uh, if she can train him. But Kyler, there's a plot hole here
Mhm.
because this whole season has been about Mando has to get Baby Yoda to Jedi.
Mhm.
That's been his quest all along. And I think Mando might have forgotten this because when he arrives, he says, "I need you to train him." But that wasn't really his goal. His goal was just to get him to the Jedi. And I
Yeah.
guess they didn't tell us, but I guess they were. The plan was hopefully that the Jedi could train him. But I feel like this to me was just plot convenience. They're like, well, we can't just leave him with Ahsoka because we can't have Baby Yoda get off the show. But it was kind of a good explanation as to why Ahsoka doesn't want to train him, because she's saying that Grogu has such a big attachment to Mando that, and we learned this from Anakin, attachments can be dangerous. He was very attached to Padme, which her death especially was one of the things that ended up turning him to the dark side. So I do get her point, but another plot hole for me is she's basically saying, I don't want to train him because he could end up turning to the dark side. But then at the end of the episode, she tells him, well, you could just find another Jedi and hopefully he could train him.
Yeah, I
But
feel
it's
like that. And that's
the
why
whole
I kind
point
of hate
is,
about that episode. I feel like, which I'll get later on. I feel like this episode was more of a, and I'll talk about this later on after we discuss this. But I feel like this was just a pilot for an Ahsoka series. I feel like that was just basically
I
the
agree.
episode.
And
It's
it's
just a
but the
pilot
whole the plot hole for me is like she's saying in general that if anyone was to train Baby Yoda, he could have the possibility of turning to the dark side. She's like, I especially don't want to do that. So it's like, why are you going to send him to another Jedi and
Unless
then
if
maybe have him turn to the dark side?
Unless if Ahsoka wants him to find Ezra, maybe that could be
Which
another thing.
I think that's what's going to happen,
Yeah.
honestly. I really do. And I think that maybe that could be the finale, but I've heard that, remember those the Prison Break episode in season 1?
Yeah.
It's said that those people are I think they're supposed to come back.
Oh no.
So we're about to have another filler episode soon.
Oh my gosh. No.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that either.
If it is, I
we'll
won't
see
even
how
watch
they
the
do
episode.
it, but
I wouldn't even watch the episode. If I start and I just see the prison, I'd be like, "Yep, good night, going bed."
I feel you. I
just
it's just so weird now because we don't have any footage. Like we don't know at all where the show is going.
Yeah,
so.
no, which is interesting.
It is interesting.
Scary though.
But yeah. So after we find out his backstory and Ahsoka says that she's not going to train him, she's like, "Well, I still kind of need your help here to go into this village." And Amanda's like, "All right, I'll help you." And Captain EJ is back, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, everyone, we are back. Eric is finally here.
I'm
Eric,
here.
say hi.
He's here, man.
All right, sorry, I was
legend.
talking to Ryan Johnson. I was on the phone.
So, he was talking to Ryan.
I'm just hoping he would come back and do an episode for Mando.
We'll
see.
About how The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker all were trending on Twitter on Thanksgiving, and I know that I definitely wasn't thankful for them.
Exactly, you did.
Please don't tell me that was you.
Yeah, dude, that was all me.
But Eric, before we get back into this, just kind of give us your general thoughts on what you thought of this episode.
Yeah, I won't be too long. I thought it was a very good episode. It was a very good episode, and I was happy with what we got. I was happy with Ahsoka. I liked her lightsabers. Those were cool. The white ones. Yeah, those are really dope. And I like the action scenes were fun, and Baby Yoda's backstory and all that stuff. I don't know how far we've gotten to the summary, but that was great. And also it was a main story quest. So basically now we know what they're gonna do. Well, we know what Mando.
That's what I was just about to get into.
Achieve.
Because what my problem is, does it feel a little repetitive now that Mando meets up with someone? Yeah. Hey, Mando, we could help you, but first help me do this thing. I mean, it's like that's at least. That was episode 1, 3, 4, and 5 now.
Yeah, because you know what? This episode actually did remind me of episode 3, I believe it was.
Yeah,
where
with
they met Bo-Katan. It was just too similar. Like, if you actually watch it, they're very similar. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think the Mandalorian is kind of falling into this formula where he just meets up with people and then they just go on a side. Because it is a side quest, but it was great to see Ahsoka.
We're getting too many side quests, though. It's like
I agree. It just kind of like it doesn't really feel like if there's a story kind of running through the season, but it's not like because even now, she says she's basically like, oh well, now you can go to this temple, and then hopefully you can find another Jedi. So
The
you
princess is
know,
another castle.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's
Basically
like,
Mario. Like only Mario can do this, not Disney.
and Moff Gideon is he's on vacation again this week. We did
Yeah,
not see him.
I
Him and
think we're gonna
Eric.
see him next episode. I think we're gonna see him
yeah.
next
Me
episode.
and Moff were chilling.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah. So now back into the episode. Oh, Eric, before we do, what did you think of Baby Yoda's name being Grogu? What'd you think of that?
Grogu. That
Oh my
was,
gosh.
I don't know. I wasn't like, I was like, okay, I guess it's Grogu now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
I
Yeah.
liked it. I thought it was cool.
I
Yeah.
thought it was cool, but let's be honest, no one's
It's a
gonna
cute
use
name.
it.
Yeah, like we were saying, everyone's just gonna keep calling him
Exactly.
Baby Yoda
Yep.
because it's already stuck.
Exactly.
But yeah. So now at this point in the episode, Ahsoka and Mando do team up. So Mando goes to the front of the village and he ends up getting his way in. And then there's this great action. Ahsoka and Mando sort of team up. Ahsoka's taking down all the guys. Mando comes in, starts shooting. And then eventually Ahsoka gets to the magistrate, and they have their big showdown. While outside, Mando and it's kind of like the magistrate's right hand man, I guess. He's kind of there, and they're just kind of hand on the gun,
That was dope.
Yeah.
the old Western shootout, the draw. So while they're talking, you have Ahsoka and the magistrate fighting. She's using her big Beskar staff. And what I liked about this fight is, Ahsoka, even though she's not a Jedi, she's still very formal in like her ways, because literally Ahsoka could have forced forced the magistrate away and literally could have killed her. But she's very formal in her fighting. And it was a great fight. The magistrate did have the upper hand a couple times. She knocked one of Ahsoka's lightsabers into like the lake, but Ahsoka ends up winning the fight, and she asks a very important question. She says, "Where is your master?" And I honestly thought this was going to be a Moff Gideon connection. I
Yeah,
thought,
actually, like when I first heard that, I'm like, oh, is this something that I'm not aware of? Like, is this something I have to look back at something? That's what I thought at
yeah,
first. That they're like,
yeah,
oh, it's gonna have to be something that only fans know. And I was like, oh
I
shoot.
agree. I thought that, and I also thought maybe Moff Gideon,
Yeah,
but
I was
they
saying maybe.
dropped
Yeah.
they dropped Tarkin, boys.
Yo, let me tell you.
This was crazy. Now, there's a good and a bad to this. The
Yeah,
good
no.
is that Tarkin is still alive. Last time we saw
Boy.
him and Ezra went off to the outer rim,
It's
or the outer
Thrawn.
regions.
Thrawn.
What'd you say?
Thrawn. It's Thrawn, not
Yeah.
Tarkins.
Oh, sorry, I meant Thrawn.
Yeah.
Sorry. Fake Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the good is that we could potentially see Thrawn in live action. But I think the bad thing, as Kyler, you said a bit earlier, doesn't this kind of just feel like a trailer for like an Ahsoka show
Yeah,
at the same
no, it
time?
really does. It really
It's
does.
kind of the problem. It's like
You know.
it was a really cool reveal, but now when I think back on it, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure the Ahsoka show is just going to be about Ahsoka going after Tarkin, and that's
You know.
they just
And if you
ended
want, you
up
could just
setting
wrap
it
up
up.
the summary, and then we could just talk all about that because there's so much to talk about. Just
Oh
with
yeah.
that
So
whole thing.
basically, after this, they end up winning. They're Ahsoka and the guy from very early in the episode who was with the kids and who wouldn't really give up information. Him and Ahsoka kind of end up sort of teaming up and running the town. Mando goes off with Baby Yoda, and it seemed like I guess Mando doesn't listen because Ahsoka's like, dude, I'm not gonna train him. But Mando is saying goodbye to Baby Yoda, and he was ready to leave him, but
To be
Ahsoka
honest,
says, look,
like during that scene, I felt like Moff Gideon would just be right there, being like, "Yo, what's up?"
really?
Yeah, I actually thought Moff Gideon would
At
be
first
there.
I thought he was really gonna try to give him up, but I'm glad he didn't because, and let's be realistic, if Disney's not gonna let Baby Yoda get off this show because
Sure.
Baby
Oh yeah, I
Yoda's
thought Baby Yoda was
the
gonna be
star.
gone or something.
Yeah, but so they talk, and Ahsoka's like, look, I'm not gonna train him, but if you go to this Jedi planet, or if you go to this planet with there's like a big Jedi temple there, and if Baby Yoda stands on the temple, he can try to reach out to some more Jedi. I think this was wink, wink. This is going to be Ezra Bridger connection that they're going to bring in, which is like, this kind of feels like Star Wars Rebels 2.0 at certain points
true.
too.
Very true.
But But yeah, basically they wrap it up. Mando flies away, and we see a shot of Ahsoka walking, and that concludes chapter 13, The Jedi. So yeah, Kyler, I know you had some things to
Yep.
say, so
But
lay it out,
yeah,
man.
let me just like I have notes, man. Like I usually don't do notes, but like there's just so many things to talk about. So I'll
Yeah,
just
there
talk
is.
about Grand Admiral Thrawn real quick. So if
Yep.
you don't know him, he was like towards the finale of Rebels, and he was definitely like a huge
Yep.
threat. He's kind of similar to Moff Gideon, I would say, but definitely a huge
Big
threat.
threat. Yeah.
Not like a Force user at all. He's not really interested in that. He's just more of a like a smart, clever guy.
Yep.
Like I said, kind of like Moff Gideon and
Very big leader in
mm,
the. He's
Empire.
very big general in
you
the
know.
Empire. Yes.
And when I first heard that Grand Admiral Thrawn, like Ahsoka's looking for Grand, I'm like, yo, this is huge. But at the same time, I like had some plot holes as to wait a minute, so is him and Moff Gideon teaming up? Are we gonna have this
Yeah.
new series? Is he actually gonna be a man? It's like, and it really ruins
Yeah.
the timeline because it's like with all these huge threats coming in, where does the First Order take place? Though and that's something I've
Yep.
been considering. I've
And
been looking back, saying, hey, where
and
does
I
Mando take? Oh, I'm sorry.
no. I'm just the problem is too like
Mhm.
I love that they're bringing in these outside characters. It's really cool,
Mhm.
but at the same time, it's like, yo, as Kyler brilliantly sent us a picture,
Yeah.
like we can't just be mopping up like Rebels now and the sequels. Like let Mando be its own thing too. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Because now Mando has so much to deal with the canon.
Oh
We
yeah.
got
Oh,
Thrawn. It's like where's
absolutely.
Thrawn? Where's Ezra now? Like you have so much at play,
Mhm.
and I think the problem, and this is the problem with second seasons of shows in general, is they go so big because you have to get bigger, and it's like season three now. Like you can't just go back to like a small. I
Mhm.
mean, this season is huge. There's so many characters,
Yeah.
and I feel like which I want season three to go back to basics. I want it to
Mhm.
be very much a Mando and Baby Yoda tale.
Mhm.
But I think if you do that, fans are going to be most fans are going to be disappointed because they want to. They're now used to seeing all these, Ahsoka
Mhm.
and Boba Fett, somewhat,
Mhm.
Bo-Katan, and this season, I think, although there have been great episodes and we've been very positive, I think in certain aspects, it sort of has felt like this is the trailer for the Boba Fett show. This is a trailer for a potential Bo-Katan
Mhm.
show. This is the trailer for the potential Ahsoka spinoff show,
You know.
And I think that could lead to some weaknesses, but
Yeah.
yeah.
No. But what I was about to say though, which is a good point, is that so I'm gonna call this the original three movies. A New
The Ridge
Hope,
Tridge, we'll call
the original trilogy,
it.
I will call it,
Yeah,
right? So in the original trilogy, it was basic about saying, hey, there's this huge empire and all that, and there's this kid who's trying to stop it, or this rebellion that's trying to stop it, right? But there was
yeah,
a few things like where does this empire come from and all of that, right? There was those kind of plot holes. Even George knew saying, hey, I have to give these characters, like character development, like all these characters, even Obi Wan, and where they really came from. And
yeah,
so that's where the prequels came in, like three prequel movies talking about, what happened before the Empire Rise. And, we even got
yeah.
a series like the Clone Wars, Rebels, and we even
Rebels, yep,
got Rogue One, like explaining like where we got to now, right?
yep,
And so
yep.
far, only for, sequel wise who explains, we only have Mando, which it's like you can't really fit
It puts a lot
all.
on Mando.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it took, the original trilogy, like three prequel movies, two series, and
Three
one.
prequel movies, Rogue, exactly.
Yeah,
Four movies, two series. Yeah,
y-
that's a lot.
yeah, exactly. And it's like we can't just rely on Mando to really like explain the First Order all in just one series. Like, no, we can't really do
Yeah,
that. And I feel like with this new episode, it was really like leading up to an Ahsoka series and a Boba Fett series.
yeah,
Which.
Perhaps,
Mhm.
uh, perhaps these spin-offs, right, that
Mhm.
are being teased, right?
Yeah.
Since you said that there's so much that covers the introduction of the original trilogy,
Mhm.
maybe
yeah,
that Boba Fett and that Ahsoka thing will also try to. Of course, they
yeah,
will try to patch holes in
Mhm.
the
yeah.
sequel trilogy for
Yeah, no,
sure.
I could
because
see that.
yeah, no, because that's what's gonna happen. Because like when I was like reading on saying, hey, when does Mando take place? It takes place like 5 years after
After Return of the Jedi,
Jedi,
yeah.
but 25 years before the Force
Force
Awakens. And you have to think, like, with that First Order being very big than the Empire.
It popped up in 30 years. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Like a thing
exactly.
of
It's
that
like you
magnitude.
can't just say
Yeah.
this popped out of nowhere. You can't just say like
Yeah.
at the end of Mando, at the end of the Ahsoka series, at the end of Boba, you can't just say, "Oh,
Yeah.
there was no First Order," but guess what? It just magically. No, you can't say that.
Surprise.
Like
Well, you know what
surprise.
you know what this just proves
Yeah.
is that they should have consulted Dave Filoni before they ever made the sequel trilogy, because now
Mm-hmm.
it's true, Mando has to do the cleanup, and it's like, look,
Yeah.
Mando, it's not like the sequels didn't happen. They did happen.
Yeah.
And Star
Exactly.
Wars is very much canon. Everything has to be canon. Everything has to tie into each other.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
look, you shot yourself in the foot a bit
Yeah.
here, because
Exactly.
now
By
I
giving Ryan
just think
Johnson full
right now
control.
Emperor Palpatine is out there somewhere right now on Exegol. Like, that's crazy
Mm-hmm.
to think that that's really happening. But
You
and
know.
that's my biggest worry out
You
of
know,
all this is,
because and something real quick though, I do want to get out. I don't
Mhm.
think the Jedi is Luke, because if you remember from the Rise of Skywalker, they said that him and Lando were searching for the Wayfinder. You know, because I'm pretty sure that they said in the Rise of Skywalker that Lando said that, "Oh, I was with Luke and we both were trying to find this Wayfinder to Exegol."
yeah,
Yeah, do you guys
yeah,
remember that? Yeah. I just want to point
yeah.
that
Sorry,
out real quick.
you froze up a little bit for
Oh,
me.
did I
Sorry.
froze? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't know if
okay.
you guys were.
Sorry, but
Mm.
and yeah, I think that's kind of a. I just don't want them to bring Luke into it, because then it's
I
like,
don't think
don't
so.
try to
Oh
don't
boy.
try to explain more about this is why he went off to the island. Like, no, just stop,
You know,
just
like you
please,
already
because
ruined it. You already.
you really think when Luke is talking to Rey on the island, you really think he's not going to mention, yo, there was this guy who survived Order 66, and he was this really powerful Jedi, and you really think he's not talking to Yoda about this? Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Mm.
And another thing is, if they don't really say, like, they just say that Baby Yoda survived. He got out of the Jedi Temple when Anakin was slaughtering all the kids. Do we think that maybe Master Yoda himself? Because look, do you really think Yoda didn't know that there was another Yoda being trained?
Well,
I think
I'm
there's
pretty
more
sure
to
in the
that.
sequels that they said that Yoda was somewhere else though when this was happening.
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah, because in the prequels, in the Revenge of the Sith, I remember like Yoda was with the Chewbacca's when this was happening.
that is true on
Yeah, so
Kashyyyk.
there would
Yes,
be no
that is
way
true.
that, and even like Yoda found out later on with Obi-Wan that Anakin was the one. Like he even
Yep,
sensed it.
that's
So I don't
true.
think it was Yoda. It wouldn't make
You literally
sense.
just proved why
Yeah.
canon can be such a
Yeah,
mess,
exactly,
because
It
exactly.
is a
you
No.
have to
mess.
do
So
all of
Like
this cleanup.
like there is a possibility though that they could say it might be, which will be very dumb, but it could be shoot, what's his name, with Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh yeah, I saw that
They
Mace
could
Windu.
say that
Yeah,
it could have been him, that he survived and it could have been him that saved it. It
I
could.
mean, at this point,
Yeah.
if freaking Emperor Palpatine was able to survive falling down the shaft and blowing up, I think Mace Windu could survive flying out of. We could call him Mace
Mace
Windu because
Windu.
he flew
Mace
out of
Windu.
a
Yeah,
window.
Mace
exactly. Mace
Window.
Windu. Mace Windu.
Um, I mean, I think it would be definitely cool to tie him in. I mean, honestly, at this point in Mando, it kind of just feels like anything goes. They'll just, hey, it's canon. Let's just do it. Let's put Mace Windu. Let's put Ahsoka in here.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my gosh.
I think, I just think there's a danger in overloading this,
Yeah.
because,
Oh, for
as I
sure.
mentioned earlier, it just, like, if so, you were to ask somebody, what is the story of Mandalorian season 2? You would say Mando's trying to get Baby Yoda to the Jedi. But it's like, if you seriously look at all of the episodes, it's like it's
What he's
not
been doing.
really. Yeah, it's Mando goes. This is how you really would describe it. Mando and Baby Yoda are looking for the Jedi, while Mandalorian does a bunch of side quests.
Yeah.
That's how,
Exactly.
you know what I mean. And I think, look, I love Mando going on the side quests. It's fun. It's cool. It's awesome. I just think it's like in season 3 now. It's like, what are you gonna do? Because now every season of Mando is going to get closer and closer, as Kyler, as you were saying, to the sequel trilogy. It's gonna have to start explaining more
Yeah.
and more, because you really think Mando being a bounty hunter, he's not gonna start running into, oh my gosh, there's this new First Order that's being built, And I just think, Man, I'm just a little worried. I
Yeah,
don't mean to sound like a
exactly.
downer because this was a really great
It
episode.
was a good
I
It
episode,
just
but
was.
there's just so many many good things like with Thrawn and all that coming back. It's just caused problems though. It does kind of
exactly.
cause problems unless if they manage to find a way to explain it better.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Because I
Um,
really do think that they should while I am happy that Thrawn is coming back and possibly Ezra, they should have done it in a different series, not this
yeah,
Mando one and bring it all in this small series. I don't think
I
that's a good
agree.
idea.
So I have a question for you
Mhm.
guys. Do you think that we will be seeing Ahsoka again in The Mandalorian, or do you think this is the only
No,
time we're seeing
100%.
her and she'll have her own
No.
show?
no, absolutely not. I don't think so.
Oh.
So you think
Well,
we're going to be
wait for
seeing
the
her
rest of the
more?
series or this season?
No, for the rest of the series.
I think we might
Oh,
see her
for the
for.
series, yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely.
don't
Yeah.
think for this season. I think for this season she's done. I highly
Yeah, I
agree.
Season
think she's done
maybe.
for the season as
Yeah,
well.
but maybe towards finale or something, or maybe if Mando has to go back during some point in
Yeah. I
season
mean, the
3.
finale would be kind of sick if like we had Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, Cobb Vanth, like
Yeah,
all together. I mean, that would
Versus
yeah,
be
no, that
Moff.
would
pretty
be cool.
sick.
That would be cool.
But
Oh, but
I don't
let me
think
ask you
that'll
guys something
happen.
real quick. Do you guys
Yep.
think for the finale for this one, Mando fights Moff, kills Moff, and then Thrawn becomes the new threat?
Well, I was thinking this too, and the actor who played Moff Gideon, he messed up because he was like, "I can't wait for you guys to see how what I'm doing in season 3." So that theory just
Beautiful.
got dispelled,
Okay,
Kyler, because
good,
I was
good.
thinking the exact same thing as you. I was like,
Yeah.
"Wow, Throne is about to be." But
I
Kyler, this is what's
Mhm,
interesting, dude. If there's a First Order building, right?
mhm.
You're really gonna tell me Thrawn was not trying to get in on that?
Yeah, exactly. It's
They're gonna have to
like none of
explain
these
that.
characters, like not Moff is not part of it. Thrawn's not part of it.
Mm-mm,
It's weird.
exactly.
It's weird.
That's why the lore is just kind of
Yeah, exactly. And you can't say this is a separate empire. Like no, this is this has to be First Order. You know,
exactly. I definitely agree.
because you can't say they were going somewhere failed and all of a sudden this major empire rose. Like no.
Yep, exactly. And I just think now Mando has a lot of promises to deliver on. We got to see Thrawn. We got to see what happened to Ahsoka. We got to see what happened to Ezra.
Mhm.
What happens with Bo-Katan now?
Yeah.
What's the Boba Fett show going to be about?
Mhm.
There's a lot of promises. But yeah, so that's I think. Are we good? Do we think that
Let me just check
basically
my
wraps
notes
up?
real quick.
Yeah,
Make
check
sure.
your thoughts. But while you're doing that, I think rating for this episode, I mean, all things considered, I'd give this a 10 out of 10. This
Yeah.
yes.
was one of the best episodes of the series, in my opinion.
You know, in my personal opinion, I do want to be fair with this review. And while looking back at it, I'm gonna give this an 8 just for two things. One is too.
Oh,
I do want to be fair. I do want to be
Did
fair
you
about.
hear that?
No, one of the things is that it's very similar to episode 3, where Mando's on a side
Yep,
quest. And it's like, okay, you're gonna have to go here now, right? And my second problem is that he has to go somewhere else and not really Ahsoka. It's like, you know,
true.
and I was like really concerned. It's like, what's the point then? What was the whole
You know,
point?
I'm just getting the 10 out of 10 off the screen. We're shooting it down.
Yeah,
Kyler said 8 out of 10.
yeah,
No,
no,
Kyler, I definitely agree. I see your
mhm,
points.
no, no.
And I'm just honestly, as an audience member, I'm starting to get a little tired of the hey Mando, help me do the side quest, and then I can
Yeah, no.
help you
It's like
get
it's
a
getting
little
old
bit
now.
further to where you gotta go.
Yeah, no. Like we probably won't get like an actual story episode until like episode 7.
I think that
Exactly.
this formula is something for me that I have kind of just felt I'm just used to it now.
Yeah,
So
no.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
think that's
for me,
I
it's
I
like I
think
get.
expect
it's
this
I
now.
think it's the gimmick of the show now.
Yeah,
That's what the
no.
show is going to keep
Yeah,
doing.
but it's a bad thing though, because it's like I'd rather just wait to buy a subscription until like later on. Like I just wouldn't. You
Yeah.
know,
Well,
it's a
no,
bad
I
thing
don't want to
though.
get spoiled, but
Yeah, I
What
that's
can
mean,
you get
okay.
spoiled on though,
exactly. Like, what can
really?
you get spoiled on?
True.
What can you get spoiled
I
on?
mean,
Besides this
yeah,
besides this episode, dude, there's no real spoilers.
Yeah.
you're right. You're
And
right.
besides, like
But
Ahsoka's in the series, like that's
I
all
don't
you
want
can
to
really say.
spoil that. I don't want to spoil that Mando has to run from some spiders, guys. Oh my gosh. I didn't mean to spoil that for you. You know what I mean? It's
No, I
like,
mean, while this episode did, clear up some things like Baby Yoda's backstory and all that, which it should have gone, it just went back to
yep.
the we're doing another side quest thing. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's like going somewhere and be like, oh, Baby Yoda has a side quest and all that.
I
Oh, we're kind of getting training, all that. Oh, let's do this side quest.
I
I'm done.
wonder
I'm
if
done.
I wonder if for the series, I guess, if
Yeah.
or maybe the season, if they will focus more on their story, or patching the mistakes of the sequel. I don't know
Yeah.
which one they'll pay more attention to.
Eric, I think they're gonna try to do both, and I think that's what ultimately could be a bit of the downfall of the Mandalorian.
Be I like to consider Mandalorian as the extension cord power strip.
Yeah.
Yep.
Basically,
Yeah,
it's an
no, it's
extension
true.
cord power
It's
strip.
true.
You connect
And Eric,
plot
it's
holes here,
almost
Snoke here.
about to plug in, but it's not plugged in just
Yeah,
yet. It
no.
Yeah,
won't
exactly.
plug in.
Yeah, no.
So
It's
yeah,
kind
But
of
it's
I
trying to connect to a bunch
Mhm.
of
yeah.
plot holes and
But yeah, no, but I agree with Eric or Zach, like where it's gonna be both. Where while it is gonna have some sort of story, like mostly with Baby Yoda, it's definitely gonna tie in with some sequels. Because already from Episode 4, we saw the Snoke cloning, which is most likely Snoke. So
Yeah.
tie in a lot. I like
yeah,
what Zach said. It's going to. There's now a lot of
yeah,
pressure, a lot of expectations now, and now someone who wants to just be have a normal simplified Mando adventure, probably
that's
not going to
gone.
get that at
That's
least for
gone.
a long time. It's gone.
Yeah.
You're gonna see a bunch of characters, a bunch of familiar characters, almost every episode. Probably nothing too too new. I mean, I'd
Yeah.
love to be proved wrong, but
I would too. That's
it's
what I'm saying. Like, I
Disney.
would love, Eric. I'm with you. Like, I would love for this not to like because I don't want the Mandalorian to fail at all. Like, I want the Mandalorian to be great,
Exactly.
and I think it is very good. But if it was able to just really get a finite story and stop sticking to the same formula every episode, it could reach that
No, no.
kind of like legendary level.
And you
Like
know
this
what?
this episode. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just about to say something real quick. I just wish we were to see this series before the sequels. That just would have been, I feel like,
Yeah.
better. Let's be
This
honest.
would have just, I mean, honestly, the problem is it kind of feels like this was a movie at first, and then they're like, okay, we got to stretch
Yeah.
the, you know what I mean? It kind of feels
Yeah, it
like
feels like a
they're
movie,
stretching it
but
out,
yeah. But what were you
which,
about
and
to say though, Eric? I'm
yeah,
sorry. Oh,
Eric, what were you about to
yeah.
say?
What was I even gonna say? I was gonna say like, geez, what? I don't even remember.
I'm
Oh
about to
no,
say
I'm
that I was
sorry,
on
my bad.
vacation with Moff Gideon,
Yeah,
and it was,
but
well, Eric, while you try to remember, I just want to say one thing.
Mm.
I hope that next season, like, do you think that the whole plot of the show now, like, I hope next season isn't like, I still got to get Baby Yoda to the Jedi. Like, I hope it's something else,
nah, it's gonna be different.
something
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
different.
because originally like season 1 was about getting Baby Yoda to his home, but now it's like now he has to find a Jedi.
Yep.
So it's like while I do hope that in the second series it's not like his home is somewhere else. Like I hope it's not like that. I hope it's more of
Yeah.
because Ahsoka did say though that in the temple it will decide his path, and maybe because I was watching an Angry Joe review, and like
Yes,
My
sir.
boy.
I
and one
watched it
person,
today as
you
well.
know, and one person said maybe at the temple, Baby Yoda's path is gonna be being a Mandalorian, and hopefully
Yep.
season 3 is
Yep.
gonna be like Mando teaching him how to be a Mandalorian, which would be
I would
really
love
good.
it. I would
That's
That
love
would
it
be
because then the
really sick.
whole plot.
his
Imagine if
tiny
all the
helmet.
way back, that's what the title of the show means. Like the
Mhm.
Mandalorian is really Baby Yoda.
Yeah, exactly. It
Grogu.
would really be promising. You
That would
know,
be amazing.
you know.
That would be amazing.
Because imagine a
But yeah,
Mandalorian with force powers. That would be really cool.
exactly. I was about to say that, dude.
Yeah.
That would
Oh
be. Well, I
gosh,
mean,
that'd be
we saw
broken.
we saw a Mandalorian and a Jedi team up, and it was pretty efficient, I think.
Mhm.
So yeah. But
Yeah. No.
do you guys have anything else to add before we end this episode? Are you guys good?
You know. But
My
I
my
just.
final. Oh,
Oh, no,
go
no,
ahead.
no. You first. You first. You first.
Okay,
You first,
I
buddy.
was saying my final thoughts are: this is a great episode. It's a great episode, right? The
Yeah,
now is great. We are
I
just
agree.
worried about
The
the future.
future.
The now is fantastic, right? Only
Yeah.
one like kind of bad episode in this season, right?
Yeah.
We're just
Yeah.
worried about what's to come, and how they're gonna execute things and introduce things and connect things. So
Mhm.
that's
Exactly.
me.
Yeah. I guess we'll have to find it because most likely by the end of this season, it's gonna be Ahsoka's gonna come in. Oh, Boba Fett's gonna have his own series. I feel like that's when we're
Yeah.
gonna hear this series. But my final thoughts, real quick. Like I said, I do love this show. I just wish it wasn't a side quest one and more like a training for Grogu, Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
And I was about to say one last thing. Shoot. Oh, right. And as Zach said that the prisoners for from like last episode
Yeah,
6, I
they're
believe.
coming back.
They could possibly be coming back to this episode, and if it
God.
is,
Filler.
if it is actually them coming back, I'm just gonna stop watching it and just go back to bed because I'm honestly not gonna waste my time.
I
So just a future
100%
heads up,
agree.
if it is, you won't be seeing me review it because I won't even be watching it.
I don't want to
Watch
see
it
them
be
again.
next week.
Yeah, no, we're just gonna be skipping next week if that actually happens. I just
Oh
hope.
my
Was
God.
there any demand for them to come back? Was there really
No.
any
Oh
demand?
yeah, people. No, you should hear, bro. The fan base loved them. Like
The same people who
No.
say Rise of Skywalker on Twitter and like are thankful.
Yeah.
Say
Oh,
hashtag
oh, yeah,
thank you
yeah,
Ryan
yeah.
Johnson.
Yeah. Hashtag thank you, Ryan Johnson, for literally putting the Mandalorian in such a terrible spot that you're making us complain about a show that is pretty good, but now it has to fix up all of your
All
mistakes.
of your
You know.
mistakes.
Oh, and
Oh my
shoot, something
gosh.
real quick I do want to say though
Yeah.
is that why did the Rise of Skywalker had to clean up the mess when Mando and all that could have? Why couldn't they just move forward with?
Well, I think honestly, Kyler, they were in such a terrible place that they were like, we just got to get this movie done. We got to get
Yeah.
this movie done. And I think while The Mandalorian was in development, look, man, that was in season 1. That was so. I mean, this is season 2 now. This is almost a year. Like this would have been 2 years in advance of when they were making The Rise of Skywalker because they're making it in 2018. So honestly, I just don't think that they actually had the foresight and the time to sit
had no
down and
plan.
actually
They had
develop
no
it.
plan.
Yeah, no
Exactly.
No plan.
Yeah, no plan.
They had no plan at all. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps us up for
Yep.
this episode. So Eric, do you want to take us out?
Yeah.
All right, guys. I hopefully won't be late next time, but thank you so much for watching. We hope you have a fantastic day. Goodbye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Later.
This is the way. This is the way.